Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Malone Record Service Betsy Show, presented by Critters Corner, where we cover everything here on the court with the West Greene Lady Buffaloes basketball team. As always, I'm joined here with Lady Buffs head coach Betsy Shaw. We're actually on the court this week. How about that?
Coffee Coach Tolley and you.
We have coffee Coach Tolliver. I walked in, saw the gym was empty. It's a beautiful place to do an interview, though. It is a beautiful gym. You got to say that.
Yeah, it is.
I know you're a little biased because you're the head coach here. You spend the majority of your time in the gym. So it's only fitting that we do the interview in the gym this week, since this is kind of, I guess, your second home in a way.
Yeah, I'd say.
I guess you could call it that. Good thing is we've got 3 wins to talk about this week. We've got 1 loss to talk about, South Greene, and then you're on a little bit of a winning streak right now with 3 in a row over Hancock County, Cherokee, and Chucky Doak. Before we get into the games, we talked about how thick your schedule was going into this ending part with 4 games in 5 days. You always want to get through that stretch because you don't know how much it's going to take a toll on their bodies, how much it's going to fatigue them. Looks like it really didn't, because you came down to the most important game at the end of that stretch against Chucky Doak and pulled out a win. So through 4 games in 5 days, how do you think your team handled it?
I thought we got better each game. You know, individually and as a team, we're still trying to, I know I continue to say it, but be consistent, you know, every game and every quarter. But I thought we got a lot better each game that we played. We improved on something, you know, both individually and as a team.
And then going through the games, you had the South Greene game. We'll talk about that one first, since it's the only loss we have to talk about. We'll get it out of the way. 42-27 loss to them. Had trouble scoring the ball in the second half of that game, played competitive in the first half, and it was kind of reminiscent of the Unaka game in a way, where I was able to tune into both of those. The Unaka game was close in the first half. They happened to hit a buzzer beater right before the half like South Greene did, and it kind of carried over for them. The momentum did into the second half, and they were able to shut you down on defense, get something going on offense. So take me through that game here at home against South Greene.
Have you been here when we won?
Been to a few.
Okay, Hampton. I was going to say, we're going to have to mark you off the list coming if you.
Hampton might be the only one.
Okay, well, that's okay. They had a good game plan, you know, to stop the paint and everything that came into the paint, and we didn't have I think we shot 2 of 16 that night from the 3-point line. At Johnson County, we shot, I think it was 1 of 15, and against South Greene, I think it was 2 of 16. So we didn't have a good shooting night, and they did a great job in the paint, and we had a hard time scoring. Our defense wasn't awful. You know, we're typically, you know, okay at defense. You know, that's something that we try to pride ourselves in, is defense here, but offensive was rough. So that's what happened.
With South Greene, Chucky Doak, and I guess Johnson County, and then you have the ones on the road. So what do you think is kind of the difference between playing at home and playing on the road?
I have no idea what happens to us. I mean, honestly, you would think that having home court advantage would be a thing for us, but I honestly don't think it is. One of Coach Hosey's interviews, he talked about how important it was to win at home in the conference. If you want to be on top, and you know, we talked about winning at home and the importance of that, but it doesn't. I mean, home court advantage isn't much of a thing here. Apparently, I don't know. We do better on the road for some. Well, we have done better on the road for some reason. So it's good, but I'm not sure what happens to us at home. So
I'm sure as a coach, you kind of feel more comfortable this year though, going on the road, knowing that you can win games on the road. That's something that a lot of times I'm not kind of talking about specific teams, because off the top of my head I can't remember your road records in previous years, but a lot of times coaches go on the road and they might fear how the players kind of take the bus ride and going into another hostile environment, playing on a court they're not familiar with, playing at a disadvantage, playing on the road. But with your team, it kind of seems like that doesn't bother them or affect them any.
I don't know what happens to them. What happens to them on the road. I mean, I'm glad that we have done better. You know, we haven't lost a conference game on the road up to this point. You know, we still have Friday. That'll be a tough one, but I don't know. I couldn't tell you. If I knew what it was, I would try to fix it. So I have no clue.
The good thing is you're not able to win your home conference games besides a few, but you win your home non-conference games. Let's talk about some of those. Hancock County and Cherokee, and then going on the road, of course, with Chucky Doak. We'll group that one in there. The Hancock County win was senior night on Saturday. The Cherokee game was their last official home game. So you finish up your home stretch with 2 wins. Talk about both of those and how good it felt to end the home schedule with 2 wins.
It felt good, and it kind of, I think the momentum helped carry us into Chucky Doak. You know, the more you win, the easier the next win is, regardless of the team. I mean, when you're losing a lot, it is so hard to get a win. And it's not just, I mean, it is based on your team, like I know that, but the more you win, the easier the next win is. And so it was good to have the momentum going into the Chucky Dope game. We had a bunch of people play both those games, and we tried a bunch of different things defensively and offensively, and so they did a great job adapting to it, and they played hard. I had a bunch of people that contributed both of those games for us, so those were both good wins. Anytime you can win, it's a good win. So. And
then the big win, the Chucky Dope win. We talk about the conference coming in here every week. We'll talk about it a little more after the game, but the win over Chucky Dope, you go on the road, you get a big win over the Lady Black Knights. That helps keep your standing within the conference after you dropped behind Hampton and Chucky Dope. So now you're right back up there in a situation where at the moment you're tied for second. Could see a possibility to where you get to that first place standing in the conference. So talk about that win over Chucky Dope and how great that one felt.
They played so hard. I mean, they played tough the entire game. We went on that little run in the fourth quarter. We had a bunch of people that came in off the bench for us that game. Joey got into foul trouble in the first quarter. She had 2 fouls. And then I said, you're not going to foul again, right? She said, no, I won't. And went right back in, and they took a charge, and so there was 3. So she sat out a long time. Kaylee Goalie and Madison Wagner both stepped in and played that post position for us. And Morgan was our lead scorer. She did a ton for us. I think she took 2 or 3 charges. She's our leading scorer and got a bunch of rebounds for us. And Emily and Neva and Peyton all did a good job, handling the basketball and had a bunch of, they scored some points. And Sarah did a good job on defense. I mean, it's one thing when you have a player, out for foul trouble, but it's great when you have others that can step up. We held the ball the last 2 minutes. I think it was around 2-minute mark. We were 100% on our free throws. That's a really big deal for us because we struggled with that. We did not do a good job, though, rebounding. I bet they out-rebounded us. I haven't got the stats back yet from Huddle Assist, but I will, and we're going to look at that because we did not do a good job at all rebounding. They got a bunch of attempts to every possession, so we've got to improve on that because that's really, really important, rebounding for us here. So.
More importantly, you get the win over Chucky Dope, which helps your standing within the conference. Winning that game now is putting you and Chucky Dope tied for second place at the moment with Hampton in first. The scenarios that are still left are still up in the air. You've got Hampton left on Friday. Chucky Dope's got South Greene left. If you were to win and Chucky Dope loses, you get that number 1 spot because you would then have the sweep over Hampton. If you were to lose and then Chucky Dope wins, I believe that puts you back at the 3 spot because then all teams, or if you lose and they win, you would be back at the 3, and then Chucky Dope 2, Hampton 1. And then if you were able to lose, and then Chucky Dope wins, that moves you back to the 3. There's a scenario, too, where you get to the 2. We talked about it earlier, but it's crazy with just 1 game left. I still think there's 4 scenarios left.
We've got to win. I mean, we've got to take care of business and do what we can on Friday and try to win, and then the rest of it, let it be. I mean, we can't control South Greene Chucky Dope game, but we can control our game, and so that's what we're going to focus on. But.
Talking about the scenarios is always hard because whenever I'm usually cool on camera and I don't ever get nervous, but when I talk about scenarios, I don't want to get things wrong, and then it seems like every time I step in front of the camera and try to talk about them, I forget what they are. They're so hard to keep track of because even with just 1 game left, there are so many things that could happen. If this team wins and this team wins, then you've got South Greene that comes into effect beating Chucky Dope. What could happen then? So there's a lot of moving parts to this, but like you said, if you go in and win, that takes care of your part, and then you've got to worry about less scenarios because then you get the win and you feel better at the end of the day because obviously you win and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
But you've got that game on Friday. You've only got 2 games left. How crazy is that?
Yeah, it's flown by. It always does. It seems like we have so many games, but it flies by. Cause, we practice every day almost or play, and so it goes so quickly.
Got Hampton on the road, got Cosby on the road. Before we talk about that, of course, we need to get a word in from our sponsors first. So we'll be right back in just a minute to talk about those pair of games here on Grassroots Media.
At Corner Pawn, the friendly and knowledgeable staff has the experience necessary to help you out regardless the need. Have an item of value you'd like to pawn or sell? Corner Pawn can help. They pawn numerous items of value, including firearms, tools, ammunition, silver, coins, and much more. When you walk through their doors, you'll find well-stocked shelves full of electronics, gaming systems, fishing and hunting equipment, car audio and accessories. And don't forget about the room full of guitars and basses and amplifiers, or their outside lawn and garden equipment. Corner Pawn is a case knife dealer and carries numerous used knives as well. Stop by and let the friendly staff at Corner Pawn help you today at 432 East Bernard Avenue, Greenville, Tennessee. For more than 30 years, Tommy's Plumbing has served customers in East Tennessee with licensed and professional plumbing services. From installing your new faucet to replacing your existing piping system, our team at Tommy's Plumbing is trained to handle the job with professionalism, attention to detail, and integrity. By offering warranties on most products installed by our technicians, Tommy's Plumbing stands behind our work, ensuring that your plumbing needs are not only met, but that your problem is solved for the long term. When you need reliable and professional plumbing service, Tommy's is the only call to make. So give us a call today and let us show you the Tommy's difference.
At Terry's Flooring, we have quality products along with quality installers that can make your space look better than ever before. The craftsmanship that our installers bring to the job site is unmatched. Along with the great installers, we have a huge selection of hardwood, LVP, tile, and carpet. We know that spending money isn't that easy, but at Terry's Flooring, we care about your money too. Stop on in and see my Popsy at Terry's Flooring and allow him to save you money while enjoying the hassle-free experience.
Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Malone Record Service Betsy Shaw Show, presented by Cruder's Corner, where we cover everything on the court with the West Greene Lady Buffaloes basketball team. As always, I'm joined here with West Greene head coach Betsy Shaw. So we've got those 2 games left. We've got Hampton and Cosby at Hampton on Friday, at Cosby on Tuesday. So the next time we sit down, it's crazy. You'll be done with your regular season schedule next week. Actually, Friday night, most people will probably already know what place or what seed you'll have going into the district tournament and who you'll play. If you won't know, of course, you can sit down and watch this next Thursday when it releases, and we'll let you know. But by then, it'll probably be time for the district tournament. But to get there, you've got Hampton on Friday. Big game. You beat them in here the first time. You're looking to pull off a sweep over Hampton on the road in one of the toughest environments that you play in all season. How do you plan on getting it done?
I mean, we're gonna have to take care, do what we know how to do, take care of the basketball and rebound. We're very inconsistent shooting, so if we do the little things, it'll put us in the position at the end to win. I mean, they press, and they do a bunch of different presses and trapping, and then trap some more. I mean, it is an entire game worth, and so it takes all 5 of them to break the press. I switched to several things last time we played, before we played them to break the press, and it was somewhat effective, but, you can always do better. So just making sure that all 5 out there know that they're working together to break whatever kind of defense they throw at us. So.
And playing them already once and getting a win over them, how more comfortable does that make you feel going into that game? Because usually whenever you lose to a team the first game, going into that second game, you don't feel as confident, because sometimes you do, because it may have been a close game where you felt like you could have won in the end and just couldn't pull it out. You got the win over them the first time. You're going into their place to play with a chance to get first place. Having that win over them, how much more comfortable do you feel going into it?
Not any more comfortable than if
Okay.
We've split with Chuckydoke, South Greene, and Johnson County. We've got to show up, and play to win. It's not like we don't have an advantage or anything like that, just because we beat them once. They're a really good team, well coached. They play so hard, so it is good in terms of maybe confidence, like maybe a little bit that we beat them, but we're gonna have to play well. So. I don't know if that answers your question or not. But.
That's as good as you get it. Then you go on into the Cosby game on Tuesday to finish your season. I know right now Hampton, of course, is the most important game. That's the only game on your schedule that you care about at the moment. But looking forward a bit to that Cosby game to close out your season. How great would it be to end the season with a win? You always want to get a win before going into the district tournament. Have a chance to do that and end the season with 5 straight wins. Beat Hampton, potentially put yourself in a spot to get the number 1 seed in the tournament. So how important will that Cosby game be after Hampton?
I scheduled the Cosby game on purpose there. They asked if we wanted to play it here, and I said no, because Cosby's a tough place to play.
That's what I've heard.
Yes, and so I wanted to prepare us better for the district tournament. Several teams I could have scheduled, but I purposely scheduled them so we could go over there and have a tough game. We played them already this year and we won, but it was a close margin. And so hopefully we can see what else we need to work on, that little practice time we'll have before the district tournament. So I'm hoping it's a tough environment, tough game. So, continue to push us to improve because we're going to have to for the district tournament. So
It's crazy the district tournament's already this close.
it is, yeah.
It's the most exciting time of the year, and it's right around the corner for us. But before we get into it, we've got that Hampton game. Very important game coming up. I know you're probably excited, but a little nervous going into that game. I'm excited to see how things shake up. I'm excited for the Chucky South Greene game to see how that kind of works itself into this thing because there are plenty of scenarios. I already tried to go over them in the first half. Not going to try to do that again. But like you said, if you win, you take care of things by yourself, and then whatever else happens. But until then, Coach, go out there and get 2 wins. Finish the season on a 5-game winning streak. Maybe go into the tournament with the number 1 seed, which is something that the Lady Buffaloes haven't done in a very, very long time.
Hope so. We can talk about it next time.
But, Coach, it's all I've got for you this week. Thank you. It's been a delight to do it here in the gym. I know you like the gym. I enjoy doing them in the gym also. There's not many gyms that I get to do interviews in. I think this one in North Greene may be the only one, so it's always special and kind of different when you get to do it in the gym.
I love the gym. I mean,
It's cool.
Yeah.
Especially when nobody's in here, too. It's got a different feel to it. When you're in here, of course, you've got players. When I'm in here, it's always packed with fans. There's always a game going on, so it's kind of cool just sitting in here. I guess some people like to call it the calm before the storm. Of course, you don't have any games left, so we don't say that, but just how calm it is in here without anybody in here. It's just kind of cool just being in a gym and just kind of being able to relax in it because every other time you're kind of stressed out in a way.
Yeah.
But, Coach, it's all I've got for you this week. Thank you once again for sitting down with me. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Malone Tractor Service Betsy Shaw Show, presented by Critters Corner. We look forward to seeing you next time here on Grassroots Media.